I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is?
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do two looks with the Too Faced Extra Spicy Gingerbread palette. I was kind of waiting to see if Too Faced sent over their holiday collection, because I don't know if you guys recall, but they sent me their full holiday collection last year and I actually really enjoyed it. That does not seem to be the case this year, so I went out and took matters into my own hands and picked the palette up at Ulta yesterday because I just felt like Too Faced is like the one company that I think that they shine through their holiday collections more than any other time of year. Also, I have a cold right now and I know I sound like shit and I'm so sorry you have to listen to me like this. I sound a little bit like Marlon Brando and that's just what we're working with today. So as I was out and about doing my Christmas shopping yesterday, I was thinking about it and I really wanted to play with this palette just because I felt like it is like the most, as far as like the packaging and stuff at least, and like the theme, it's like one of the more festive palettes that came out this year. The MAC collection was really festive, but it wasn't like a single eyeshadow palette, you know what I mean? So even though we don't have the full collection this time around, I really wanted to play with some colors and like maybe get a little bit interesting with some of the shapes. This first look, I could not for the life of me remember where I had seen this shape before, but I knew I'd seen it somewhere and I did some digging because it was not going to sit right with me if I did this and like didn't remember who to credit. And I finally found her. I will link her Instagram down below, but her name is Sandy HIRALES. I think I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. But she does like, first of all, she does a shape like this really often and it's really cool, but her stuff is so unique and very interesting. So it's just really unique and I think she's awesome. And I wound up following her on Instagram because of this, so that's exciting. So I'm gonna link her Instagram down below. Go check her out. She does really cool stuff, but this shape was inspired by her work. Also, I recognize that this is a little bit more of a difficult look to achieve, so I'm going to try to balance that by making this second look also be kind of festive, but easier to achieve if that's more your speed. I try to keep that in mind when I do these videos because I don't want it to ever be like, oh yeah, that's really cool, but I could never pull that off, which first of all, you can if you practice, I promise. And a lot of you guys say that you can't, you totally can. It just takes a lot of time to practice. But if you don't have that time at the moment, I like to provide something a little bit easier as far as like the intricacies of it. So second look, I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna try to make it a lot easier to achieve than this one. As always, I'll link everything down below and timestamp everything down below. You guys know the deal. I try to make everything very convenient for you guys in the description box. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video if you don't mind taking a quick little second to do that because it's very helpful to me. Maybe, you know, one like for one cough drop for me, you know what I'm saying? And also, if you're new around here, please go ahead and subscribe, you know, stick around. Yeah, it's like a thing you could do. We could have a good time and very few people have expressed regret, you know what I'm just saying. I think that's all we need to talk about before we get into it. Book club information will be in the description down below too if you're waiting for that and you haven't heard the announcement in the last couple of videos. I think that's all, so let's just roll into look number one with the Too Faced Gingerbread Extra Spicy palette. For this first look, I plan to experiment with the shape a little bit. I may live to entirely regret this, so we will see. Whenever I experiment with the shape of an eye look, I'm always like, oh God, maybe this won't work at all. But to start, we're going to keep it pretty standard. I'm going to go into a fairly normal transition shade. I'm going to start with the shade In a Pinch. Picking that up on my BH number 6. I'm just going to put that through my crease area. People were saying that this is gingerbread scented, and as I'm sure you can hear, I have a cold right now, so I'm not sure if I just can't smell it or if it's just not that strong a scent. There's definitely like a little bit of a baked goods scent to it, but I don't smell gingerbread in particular. That color is nicely pigmented though and seems to be blending out well. On BH number 7, I'm going to go into the shade Gingerbread Glam. I'm going to use that to deepen the crease a little bit. I'm not going to go too crazy trying to deepen the crease because I'm basically going to draw completely over this, creating a different shape. Just want to make sure that like that gradient effect is in the background. little things like that I think make a look more complete in the end. All right, for this different shape, this different technique, I'm gonna do something similar to how we would do a cut crease, but instead of using a concealer to cut out a lighter space, I'm going to use an eye pencil to create a darker shape and then fill that darker shape with the corresponding color from the palette that I think will go well with it. So I want the majority of the shape on my lid to be with the shade Midnight Snack. That's the kind of the shade that really appealed to me the most in this palette overall. The pencil that I have that's really close to that is Urban Decay Invasion, except this is a matte and that's a shimmer shade, but I think this will give us a nice base. So I'm just gonna draw the shape that I want with this pencil and then we'll fill it in with that shadow. And essentially I'm going to draw the top half the way I would a cut crease. So just a line above my natural crease. This doesn't have to be like a super clean line because I'm just giving us an outline of where we're going to place this shadow down. The reason I chose a similar shade is just so it's easy to blend them together. Drawing that wing shape down toward the outer corner. But what I wanted to do was do like a cut right here, so that it kind of like is that shape and then dips down like a little cutout right there. So I'm just gonna draw the little cutout that I want right there. It's definitely not super neat the way I just did that, but that's okay. On a makeup wipe, I'm gonna wipe away the part of that outline that we don't need, and then I'll touch it up with a little bit more concealer to make it nice and clean, but I'll do that after, so it's like I'm cleaning up the edge anyway. So to fill this shape in, I'm gonna go into Midnight Snack. I'm gonna first pick that up on this MAC 242S brush and start packing it over the majority of that space. And then I'll get a little bit more precise with this NABLA Lash Line Smudger brush. I'm gonna pack that onto this flat brush though, and I'm gonna wet it a little bit so we get like a nice, almost like using like a cream shadow, you know? I'm gonna grab my makeup wipe again and just clean the edges of that shape with the makeup wipe. I definitely need to pack more of that shadow onto the actual lid area though, because it's looking a little bit sheer at some spots. And to clean up that edge, I'm gonna grab a little bit of my Benefit BOING CAKELESS concealer. Just taking that on. This is a NABLA, another lash line smudger brush. It's a little bit different though. This one's a bit bigger. And I'm using this because it has a nice rounded edge, but it's small. So if I use the edge shape of it, it should help me kind of like shape the shapes. Wow, shape the shape. I'm fucking Socrates. Okay, I think I did a fairly decent job of matching that shape on both sides. It's not perfect, but I can always adjust it a little bit more as we go along. I do want to add a little bit of shine to the center of the lid though. So for the center of the lid, like I said, I do want to add like a little bit of shimmer just to bring it forward a little bit and add some dimension to the look. So I'm gonna go into the shade Lick the Spoon. It is very much brighter than the shade that's on the lid, but we're gonna use it pretty lightly on our finger, and that one is the most like neutral shimmer of them all. So I think it'll kind of help us to keep that color that we have there, but just add a little bit of shine in the center. So I'm gonna pop that right on the middle of my lid with my finger, and then I'll go back over that in a second and blend it with more of the original shade Midnight Snack, just to tone it down and blend it in. See what I mean? How it's kind of like, it's still that color, but now it just has a little bit of shine in the middle. Okay, I concealed and powdered under my eyes. I put down a lot of powder so that way I can use my hands on this area without disturbing the makeup underneath. So I'm gonna grab my MAC 221S and I'm gonna go into the shade In a Pinch again, which is this kind of peachy shade up here. I'm gonna start smoking out the lower lash line with that. I'm not going to bring that all the way out past the end of the eye today because I do want to leave that cut out alone without putting any more color in it. And since we use that shade to like blend out the whole crease, I'm just gonna bring it right across the entire bottom and like right into the inner corner. Just blend it all together, why not? I'm also gonna take this little lash line smudger brush again, and this time I'm gonna go into the shade Extra Spicy. I'm gonna use that to just add a little bit more definition to the lower lash line. And for the waterline, I'm gonna grab my Tarte Fake Awake pencil. I'm gonna run that right through the waterline, just brighten things up a bit. And next what I'm gonna do is right where we have that cutout piece on the lid, I'm gonna add a couple of rhinestones. I know we've been using rhinestones a lot lately, but it's the holidays, you know, and what better time to glue shiny things to our face? You know what I mean? I'm gonna grab the clear ones again, and I am going to attach them with the House of Lashes clear glue. And every time I do this, everybody asks me where I get my rhinestones from. Sorry, I'm trying to grab my little wax pencil so I could pick them up. I just buy flat back rhinestones on Amazon, and I try to buy the higher quality ones, but I don't go so far as to pay for actual Swarovski crystals because those are just really expensive to be doing looks with all the time. But I'll link the exact ones that I use in the description down below. So if you guys are looking for decent ones, like these are actually shiny. Sometimes you can get them and they're like cloudy plastic and they look like shit. So these ones are pretty good for the price, and I like that there's a variety and that they come with a little wax pencil to apply them with. So I'll link these in the description if you're curious. I'm gonna use mostly small ones this time, and I'm not gonna put a ton. I'm just gonna put a couple in that space. All right, I may need to adjust those a little bit because I broke my own rule and put them way too close to my lash line, but I'll see what happens after I finish the other eye and I try to put some lashes on. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna finish this eye, I'm gonna go put some lashes on to finish up this look, and then we can pair it with a lip. Okay, I popped on House of Lashes Midnight Luxe lashes and just finished off my cheeks. And I think to bring the holiday feel of this back, because the main color on the lid does have a little bit of greenness to it, but combined with the orange, it's not really giving me holiday vibes. I mean, it's shiny, it's something fun, but it's not like festive really. So I'm gonna do the obvious festive thing and combine this with a red lip. So I'm gonna grab my Fenty Stunna lip paint in the color Uncensored, the original, and I'm gonna use this to just jazz it up, make it a little bit more holiday party appropriate. Maybe you could totally do this with a nude too, and still it would be fun. Just trying to amplify the festivities, you know what I mean? I got these freaking sticks behind me, might as well make it like a little bit Christmassy. And this is the first look. Alright, for the second look, I'm going to do something a little bit softer and a little bit easier to achieve, something that doesn't require as much precision as look number one. So hopefully we're going to get a very different result here. I'm going to take my beige number 6, and I'm going to start by going into the shade Butterscotch. So I'm going to take that on my beige number 6, like I said, and put it right through my crease. Also, in the last 24 hours, on top of this cold that I have that's making me sound like such a baby angel in your ears, it developed a giant pimple on my temple. I don't know if you guys can see it. It covered really easily with makeup, but it's like really huge. And like, quite frankly, that's everything I ever wanted and dreamed for myself. So, I mean, we've made it, you guys. We could just quit now. I've achieved everything I wanted to in this life. I'm gonna blend it toward my brow. Ooh, that's really potent. I wasn't expecting it to be that pigmented for some reason. Okay, good. And I'm gonna blend it in circular motions toward the brow, keeping it on that same brush though. I don't think this color is strong enough that we need to blend it with a clean brush to like avoid getting too much of it everywhere. But I do want a good amount of that yellow peeking out of the edge. I'm gonna take my MAC 221 brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Cinnamon. I don't know why, but I really don't like that name. I don't like that. It annoys me and I don't know why. I'm gonna put it through my crease, deepen up below that yellow. I'm gonna grab my Sigma E36 brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Hot Tamale. It's like a mid-tone pink, so I think it'll be a good addition to this little gradient we've got going on here. All right, I'm gonna grab my Real Techniques. I think this is their shading brush. I don't remember, and the label is rubbed off as usual, but I'm gonna go into the shade Spicy Mommy. I'm gonna pack this shade on the inner and outer portion of the mobile lid that we still haven't put anything on. I'm trying that dry for now. I might need to wet it though. It's not bad dry, but I do want to try it wet, see if we can get it a little bit more intense as far as like the shimmer part of it goes. No, dry was fine. That kind of looks the same. I'm gonna wipe that brush off on a color switch sponge, and I'm gonna go into the color Candy Queen. I'm gonna pop that right in the center of the lid. Actually, maybe this will be better with a finger. Let's try this with my ring finger. Yeah, that is so much better. Okay, now we're talking. Yes. I added concealer and I powdered under my eyes, but I didn't have a ton of fallout with these shades so far, so I didn't bother trying to put like a ton of powder down there to catch anything. The underside of the eyes, I'm going to blend it out with more of the pinkness in this palette. I'm going to go into Soft and Sweet on a BH number 7. I'm going to smoke out the lower lash line pretty low with that shade. Just blend the edge of that with a clean brush. Next, I'm going to pick up a pencil brush and I'm going to go into the shade Hot Tamale. I'm going to use that along the lower lashes, just a little bit closer to them. That pink's a lot more intense. So the other one will just give us like a little something for it to blend out into. I'm bringing that up to meet the colors we used on the top as well. On a clean pencil brush, I'm going to go into the shade Drizzle It, which I don't know how to describe this, but it does look like it's going to be very metallic. So I'm going to use that on my inner corner. I'm going to pick that up on that pencil brush and wet it with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus. I'm going to pop that right on the inner corner. I'm going to spread that under the lower lashes and also up into the top. That shade's giving me like a nice molten metal effect. I like that, but I also think I want to brighten it a little bit too. So I'm going to wipe that brush off. I'm going to pick that same one up. I'm not going to wet it again. I'm just going to go right into Lick the Spoon. Just pop that right on the absolute center. The absolute center, I say. Like it's like a scientific measurement. What is wrong with me? Why am I like this? I'm also going to take a little bit of that and just pop it right in the center of the lid because you know what? Fuck it, why not? And for my waterline, look who's back. I'm going to go through the waterline with Urban Decay Torch because you know I couldn't do a warm orangey eye look and not pull out Torch. You knew I couldn't. I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. I'm going to finish my skin and add some lashes, and then we'll move on to pair a lip with this look. I added House of Lashes Stella Luxe because I like the little flare shape that they gave. I will admit that I applied them a little bit wonky today, but you know what? It's okay because we're all humans. I also went ahead and threw on some fake freckles. I just spotted on some little dots with my Urban Decay Brunette Betty Brow Blade. It's a lot of bees coming out of my mouth at one time. I just felt like it kind of went along with the gingerbread vibe. I don't know, it just felt right, so I did it. For the lips, I feel like a very warm, matte, nude, neutral-ish kind of a color would be really flattering with this, but I want it to be really, really warm. So instead of an actual lip pencil today, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Urban Decay Torch eyeliner, which I have gotten confirmation that this is actually okay to use on your lips. I just wouldn't recommend using it on your lips and then your eyes, just FYI. And I'm going to fill the center in with Fenty Stunna Lip Paint and Unbutton. And I just realized how funny it is that I'm using these both together on my lips when these are like the ones that I'm notorious for using over and over again in various applications in every video. Wow, wow, we've really come full circle today. And this is the second look. All right, guys, so that's the two looks. And after using this palette, I think that as far as the packaging is concerned and the theme is concerned, this is like one of the most cutesy festive things I've seen released this year, but I'm not so sure that the colors inside of it really make for the most festive looks overall. I actually really liked both looks that came out of this, but I'm not so sure that they give me a holiday vibe. It's more almost giving me a fall vibe than holiday, which I don't mind. I still like that, but I was just thinking that like maybe if Midnight Snack was a little bit more of like a bright punchy emerald, and maybe one of these shades was like a little bit closer to like a burgundy reddish, or even if there was like a bright silver or a really glittery gold shade in here, like maybe one of the shimmers was a little bit more punched up and like in your face. I think it might have been overall a more like a holiday glam sort of a feel. However, overall, I like this palette. I do think that it's really nice. I feel like Too Faced has gotten a really bad rap for their palettes the last like year or so. But to be honest, I think that for like a day-to-day palette, this is really good. It's just not the same type of a formula as like say like the Melt Muerte palette or like the Norvina palettes where the pigmentation is so over the top in your face. In this, the colors are still rich, it blends well. They're more soft, if that makes sense. Not soft in texture, but like soft, visually soft. I think Midnight Snack is a really beautiful shade and I really like the way it looked over the whole lid, but I do, like I said, wish that it could be like maybe a little bit more green because it almost read as like a black. The shimmers in here overall, and I've noticed this with Too Faced palettes in general, they don't have like a creamy texture to them like some do. Maybe it's the way that they're pressed. I'm not really sure. I'm not like up on my makeup manufacturing enough to really say, but it does seem that you, for that trade-off, you get less fallout, but you might need to go back and like layer it over itself a couple of times. You could definitely get a bold look out of them. It's just not bold in one swipe the way some are. No matter how hard I stick my nose into this, I cannot smell gingerbread, and that's okay. I don't care personally. It still smells nice. It's got like a little sweet smell to it, but it also entirely could be the fact that I have a cold right now. And I also just germed up my entire palette, so that's also great. You're just looking for something that's a little bit colorful day to day, but also a little bit festive. I think you'll like this. I think it's really cute, and yeah, that's where I stand on it. It's decent. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you picked this palette up, if you had your eyes on it, if you've tried their holiday palettes in the past, whatever your experience is with this, I would love to hear it in a comment. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it because it's very helpful and I very much appreciate it. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would subscribe. Like I said earlier, very few expressions of regret there, so it's a pretty good track record. And hopefully next time you come back, I will not sound like I'm about to make you an offer you can't refuse. If you want to keep up with me between these videos, go ahead and find me on Instagram. I'm at Miss Quinface over there, and I would love to have you be part of that little crew. I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking about this palette and watching me do these looks. As always, I appreciate you taking the time, and I will see you in the next one. You're gonna be there, and I'm gonna be there, and we're gonna have a good ass time.